How's it going, everybody? This time on the garage we're going to do a little more work on the B44 front end. But first, the missus got me some treats there. Not a lot of people like these Peeps. You get Christmas ones that are peppermint. I've loved them since I was a kid. So we're just going to have a couple of these before we start today. So we're going to do a little bit different though. My wife came up with a little idea. She said, you like those Peeps, so I bought them for you. Maybe you should roast them on a stick since they're marshmallow. She said it'd be good for your video, so I'm just gonna roast one up here. There we go. Not as good as a campfire, but redneckery at his best again. Look at this little face turning brown. I've never had one of these roasted before. I never thought about doing that. She's a smart lady. Alright. It looks sufficiently melted. Let's give this a try. It was too hot. Anybody that likes Peeps, definitely roast them. If you don't like them, roast them and try it. Guaranteed you'll like them. Anyway, we'll put this away and we'll get back working on the bike. So because this had a custom front end on it, I didn't have any spring retainers, because usually there's the shrouds that go over the headlight bucket ears. Oh wait, now I have one right here. So this is sort of one off the Norton, so they would be on the handlebars and the Gaiters and this would grab onto this. Because I don't have that kind of front end, a friend of mine made up this little cup and it retained the spring, and I had exposed shocks just for the look. So now the Gaiters that I have slide off of those because it was just machined, custom made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put 3 screws poking out in this, just so I can have something to pinch the rubber around so that the Gaiters won't slide off of the retainer anymore. So I'm just going to drill a couple of quick holes in this. Roughly in thirds. Not going to be too precise about this. Like I say, it's just literally just to keep the Gaiters from sliding down. So I'm just going to drill 3 holes and put in 3 of these self tappers. They call them wafer screws sometimes. We use them at work quite a bit. So we'll just drill out the holes right quick. There, just got 3 holes in there. I'm just going to screw these wafer screws in from the inside so they'll stick outward. It's like I'm making kind of a weapon here. Could probably use that as a weapon. Get up around Cape Breton and some of the coyotes. I could whip these off and do some damage to save myself. Alright, here's the last wafer screw. So now I'm just going to nip the sharp ends off of those just a little bit so they won't protrude all the way through the rubber. It's just pretty much to keep the rubber from sliding off of them, so it's not the right way to do it, but this is what I got and this is how I'm doing it. If I could afford all them fancy reproduction parts or new old stock parts, I'd do that, but this bike is just a driver as usual. So now I'll put this back on and slide up the gaiter and see if she catches. Alright, and there we have it. So that won't pull off of there now. I'm going to install the forks with the headlight ears back on the bike. Another little thing I just noticed, this bike was last safety inspected by the province in April of 1977. If you have the vintage bike here in Nova Scotia, you're not required to get a yearly safety inspection or every second year. You have to get a mechanical fitness from someone in an actual certified mechanic or a club member. Anyway, it's pretty neat that whatever bike this was on was last inspected in 1977. It's pouring rain outside. You can hear the rain pounding on the roof here. So here it is with the fork gaiters back on and my headlight ears. And they're going to stay in place pretty good, I'm sure. So right now I'm going to take the fork caps off and fill it up with some fluid. There's going to be 6 ounces in each fork tube, and it says in the service manual for this thing to use 10W30. So I'm just going to measure off some of that and I'll fill up the fork tubes. Two, 4, 6 to the other one. 2. So they're filled up to 6 ounces each, according to the old BSA manual. So they just use regular motor oil in these old bikes. You don't say anything about fork oil and stuff, so that'll get in there and become my damper. Alright, so to get the front wheel back on this thing, I still need to do a little bit of work to that for the drum, and we can roll it around. I think I might put the handlebars on next. I finally got my bolts for the clamps. I got them today, and I'll put the headlight bucket on. Got the old drop sheets today. What am I saying? I got them every day. Well, we'll flip this handlebar on here again. Probably slide that throttle. I'm gonna take that throttle apart anyway. I need to reroute it, so. Now I'll grab the headlight and we'll get the bucket back on. There we go. So we got the handlebars on, headlight on. Got to track down the other bolt for that. I'm not going to tighten anything up yet because I still got to do some adjustment. I'm going to be putting a higher fender on here, so I want to make sure it clears the headlight. So it's starting to look a little more like a motorcycle again. So this week I got to go out and pick up some parts for the front wheel. I just need the retainer nut for the drum, and once I get that I can fit the front wheel back on. Once that's back on, I'll get the little fender that I had on this. I didn't run it when it was a street tracker, but I'm going to modify it to use the mounts. I left extra long. I've made extra long studs for the pinch bolts, and I'll come off the old bolt hole for the Zener diode from the original bike, and between those three I'll come up with some kind of a homemade fender mount. To mount that higher to give it more of that scrambler look. But that's everything. Got the oil in, handlebars on, the gaiters aren't going to slip out of place, and once we get the wheel on and stuff, we'll see how she bounces. So thanks again for tuning in to Easter and Garage. I'm glad you could join me this afternoon, getting some more stuff done on the old B44. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to help with the channel growth. And still been doing pretty good. I'm getting a steady climb, so someday I get my videos good enough and a lot of people watching, I'll quit my job and do this full time, maybe not. Anyway, everybody have a good weekend, and we'll see you next time. Remember, if you ain't working on your project, nobody is.